Welcome, Chris. I'm really excited to have this conversation. So, this is about why we want to care about physical well-being, mental well-being, nutrition, the environment, when it comes to the buildings that we work in, why this matters and is linked to potentially business profit, why it's linked to your retention rates as well, potentially. And why some companies might be missing out on a big opportunity if they're not looking at this. And I'm really excited to be joined by Chris because together we're going to talk about what we can do on the more building side of things and sustainability, as well as bringing in how that environment can support well-being, but also how teaching about nutrition within those organizations and the food that's served can also support both physical and mental well-being in those environments. And I'm Vanessa Sturman. I'm a multi-award winning speaker and health and nutrition coach. And I help organizations, leaders, and teams to build in those habits within their busy days when it comes to their nutrition and lifestyle that can help support their performance, their focus, and resilience without the overhauls, without the restriction. And no, you don't have to cook every meal from scratch in order to be healthy. And Chris, please introduce yourself as well and tell us a bit more about the building work environment side of things.
Oh, Vanessa, thank you very much for being with me in this conversation. It is very important to take this opportunity of the legislation getting more restricted and more concerned about comprehensive worker health. And this comprehensive work health will involve safety and healthy work environment and also physical and mental well-being. So I think that our work can contribute a lot to this conversation and to these changes into the companies. In my work, I have been working for 16 years, only with sustainable construction, changing environments, working in renovations, changing the way of the people look at the environment that they work. For example, improving access of natural lights, natural views, natural environments, promoting good quality of indoor air for people, and taking care of materials that people use indoors. For example, I have been working more than 5 years just with material products that are non-toxic for people. And well, with that, I'm very excited to have this conversation. And I think that this topic of physical and mental well-being and sustainable environment and smart nutrition, I think that we can contribute for people to be able to give their best for companies and to promote and to create profitability with health, not like killing themselves to deliver a good work, but also being happy and healthy into this work environment. So I think that this is the main contribution that we can do, and we can skip for the next slide where we can have that with more details. Let me just try to get it done. Oh, it's locked. I'm not going. Let me. Okay, now we get it. We got it. And so when we talk about physical environment, it's thinking about building as health drivers. So we have to think about how is this indoor quality, or because if you have a toxic air, you are not able to have a good cognitive mind. Thermal and acoustic comfort, women's who gonna feel like cold in the environment, and men's maybe they will suffer with the heat. And so it's important to think about that for productivity. If you are uncomfortable, you'll not be able to produce. Also, natural light is very important. People, for example, you prefer to work in a rooftop or underground. You're gonna feel very tired if you are in the underground. Access to quality views if you see nature, if you see people, if you see streets, if you see um, forest, you're gonna feel the sky. You can feel more healthy to work, more able to work. Also, non-toxic construction materials with low VOCs. It's important to remember that some of those construction materials, they can deliver cancer. And also biophilic design, because we are part of the nature. So when we are working in an environment that deliver us this more biophilic design, we can produce more, we can feel more healthy in these environments. And also active design. Active design is very interesting. No one wants to use the stores. Okay.
Yes, yes. The
Yes.
active design,
Everyone wants to take the elevator because
yes.
sometimes the stores are so closed and with no good air, not good quality of this environment, very dark and dirty. But if you have a good store, very invited, convidative stores, we'll be able to use that. So we have some cases with piano or music or vegetables and nature, life, and very funny stars. They invite you to use that, and so you can have this kind of active design. And also, it's important to have break and social areas, indoor and outdoor, because people spend more, more or less 9% of their time, their lifetime, indoors. So
Yes.
tell us about the healthy food, healthy
Oh,
eating, how it
yes.
contributes to this improvement in work environment, Vanessa.
Yeah. Do you know what? Before I go into healthy eating, I just want to respond to some of the things that you said, because these are not two separate things. Oh, healthy eating's over
Wonderful.
there, and hey, building stuff over there. This is all contributing to our physical and our mental well-being, right? And what we said about the active design, I just want to talk a little bit about that, because people often think in order to stay fit and healthy, I've got to go to the gym for hours every day. I have to be a superman or superwoman. And yeah, of course, we've got to make time for this stuff. But this can also just be about adding an extra 5 minutes a day. And it could be, hey, in order to get to that meeting, I'm going to take the stairs. But of course, the building has to encourage that. And there was a study that showed if everyone could do an extra, so for the general population, so this isn't for people who are the most active, but for the general population, if they add an extra 5 minutes walking to their day, we could prevent about 10% of deaths across the population. Now, that is if it's consistent. We have to be consistent with all these habits, with our food, with getting some natural light, getting out in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes, of natural light, that can really, really help our circadian rhythm. So basically helping our body know what time of day it is so that we know what it can help us sleep. When it gets dark, we're meant to be going to sleep, etc. But these are small habits built into our busy day, and they really, really come together. And when it comes to the healthy eating side of things, that's one part of our health. We've got the social side, sleep, managing stress, actually enjoying the environments that we're in. These are really important. And with our healthy eating, again, it doesn't have to be super complicated. And we sometimes see online a lot of myths. You're not allowed to eat cake or a cookie. That's a lie. We can still have some of that. We want the majority of our food to be balanced and healthy. And a lot of the time, that's not happening. So, just to give you one stat, most countries, or most kind of what, more high income countries, are very deficient in fiber. Less than 1 in 10 people are getting enough fiber. Now, fiber is what our good gut bacteria feed off. It's important for helping us be more satiated. So that means helping us be more satisfied with food. It's important for our gut health overall. It can help support our immunity. We want to be getting these foods in, these fiber filled foods, for our overall health, but very few people are. And I'm talking about building in more fruits, more vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds. These are small things that can be served in the workplace. So this is where also some of these certifications, which are not mandatory from what I understand, Fitwell certifications, where they're encouraging to serve more of the food like this. So encouraging to serve in a plant forward kind of way. So making sure it's more visible to people. Here are the fruits and vegetables. We're going to serve whole grains. We are also going to serve plant proteins as well as animal proteins. Now, these are important for helping to lower the risk of certain diseases like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. No one wants to have those. There are many other factors that come into those. But if we can be helping with that at work, that's a great thing. There was also a study by Brigham Young University that said people were 93% more likely to report a loss in productivity when they rarely ate fruits and vegetables. So having an environment that encourages just getting in an extra few pieces of fruit and vegetables a day helps people also reduce animal protein and build in some more plant proteins is really important, and for the environment as well. So we know that when we reduce our animal products, that can be helpful for climate change, reducing deforestation, helping reduce the loss of biodiversity. So this all comes together.
Yes, wonderful. And one thing that Fitwell certification incentivates a lot into construction, into buildings, is for us to think about places where you can have pure water. So if you have a square in your industry, let's say, or in your building, you have to deliver pure water for people to drink and to fill the bottles, in order for them to have access to natural water. It's because when you have access to natural water, you avoid that um, drinking with sugar, refrigerants, and Coca-Cola, and so on. So the building can contribute for you to have this good and healthy eating. So also about active design, when you talk, also I also all time I incentivize my customers to create outdoor areas where they will be able to realize meetings with their teams with no connection, without mobile phones, and without screens, in order for them to be able to look eye to eye, and to work only with their minds, thinking and having this conversation outdoors. So maybe they can do this walk until this place that can be under a tree, and they can have this conversation, maybe with fruits. When you have
Nuts.
fruits in
Yeah.
the environment, you're gonna eat that. For example, if I have in my table an apple or a bar of chocolate or something else, I'll eat what I have near me. So it's very important, this that you talked about, the importance of having access to good food, to mitigate and to contribute to reduction of stress, fatigue, low energy, and so on. So I
Yeah.
think that this can be buildings connect human health, because involves environment and buildings and
Yeah.
business. So this
Yes.
this is all connected. It's a holistic health point of view of us. I think that also to this stress, right? If you have a good food and a good environment, you'll be able to distress more easily.
Yes, it definitely has a link. We know that what we eat is linked to our mental well-being as well. Again, so many other factors. It is important that we eat well to help our brain health, and work can help with that as well. And I think it's also really important to remember with the healthy eating side of things that it's about having that balance. So we mostly want to be having the food that we know is healthy and having, you know, a reduction in maybe things like the chocolate bars, which can definitely feature. And I think it's actually really nice for workplaces to still have some of that around. You know, if people want to have a can of Coke, maybe that's still around. We can't, you know, every workplace is going to be a bit different, but it's making sure that the majority of what people are eating and drinking is the things that we know are more health promoting.
Wonderful. I agree. I definitely agree. And not being rigid, right? Maybe you can have some foods that are not completely healthy, but it's important for majority of the life you being able in contact with a good kind of food that will feed our brains in order for we to be able to produce, to generate profitability, prosperity, and a better quality of life for everyone, for contractors and for
Yes.
employees. So buildings, food, and mental wellness. What business underestimate, Vanessa?
Yes, I mean, I also wanted to mention from before actually, but the with some of these regulations, because you know we've got businesses underestimating things, and we've got things that businesses have to do, and we've got things that they could do, right? And
Right.
obviously we want to encourage people to really progress because of the benefits to those businesses. You know, if your people are happier, more energized, you know, that also links to your business performance. And obviously, we want to retain people better. We want people to come into the buildings and go, this is a great place to work. But I wondered
Yes.
if you could just tell us, Chris, what, and in Brazil, because I know you were talking about regulations in Brazil, what regulations have come in that mean
Yes.
people, that mean some of these employers or building managers have to do certain things?
Yes. Nowadays we have the regulation of Brazilian NR1, and it's connected with risks that contemplates not just physical risks, like from the environment, the risk of something falling into your hair, your head, but so you have to use a protection. It's not just
Mm,
about that or falling in a place, but also about the environment, the physical and mental environmental uh, um, environment. So this thing of getting mental sick, it's getting very concerned in Brazil, and there's a new regulation. And so because of that, we are having this conversation in order to contribute. For example, inspired by Fitwell certification, people can use these new regulations as an opportunity to improve their environment and also to get a Fitwell certification, and taking it not just as something very rigid and expensive for the company, but changing this because people are getting sick. And so someone that is sick will not be able to work in a way that my company needs this person to work. So it's important to look at this new regulation, new Brazilian regulation. It's also all around the world. Everyone is concerned about mental sickness, and there's stress and the fatigue and burnout, and also more critical situations that we know that happens every single day. People will lose the capacity of getting back to the work. They will get traumatized. And so I believe, according to a lot of research that I have read about, that the environment can contribute. For example, in a hospital, when you have a balcony and you have access to views, you go home early than if you are in a block, very dark, with a not access to natural views, not access to natural light, not access to nature, and so on. So we'll be there and delivering expenses to the hospital, to the social care plan, to the family that will be fatigued by the situation. So, for example, students that will have access to natural views, natural light, also a good quality of air, they will be more able to to develop their abilities of knowledge, of getting knowledge, and also for employees connected with productivity. So our work, Vanessa, is to contribute for companies to change some habits
Hmm.
that can be a renovation and so on. In order for them, they can do a retrofit, they can work on these climate risks. For example, we know you passed through that in London recently about this climate change and this heat waves.
Yes, yes, no,
And we know that this
completely.
impacts your productivity, your capacity
Yes,
of reflection, your cognition, your desire of working and so on. We saw that in Paris. People were in to the river during all week. They were
yes,
not able to even to sleep into their homes, and companies and so on. So schools had to be closed because of that. So this is a reality. We are living that as a reality. So it's an opportunity
yeah,
for taking these measures. Also with food, when you eat something that is more grassy and industrialized, you lost energy and capacity of working in comparison if you eat like fruits and vegetables and grains and
yes.
other kind of food. So it's as you told us, it's everything is connected.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also it's important to remember with just on the food side that something being processed as well, it doesn't necessarily make it bad. There are foods we want to be going more for the whole foods. Then there are some foods that are actually going to support our health as well that might make things a bit quicker, which we can also serve in workplaces. People can also bring in with them. It might even be something like a protein shake that they could have on the go or something like that. And I think it's important
Yes,
workplaces
true.
also look at that sort of thing. But what I also wanted to sort of comment on what you said, in terms of these missed opportunities, is that this costs businesses money. It costs businesses money when their people aren't well. It costs them money when they can't retain staff, not being as sustainable in the long run costs money, but also it's very important for overall public health. It's important for protecting our resources. So, and our resources being whether that's within nature or whether that's our people. And so, in the long run, I mean, some companies see very quick returns as well when they start looking at this sort of thing, but it's the only way that we can go in terms of the future. And more regulations may be likely to come in as well. So, some things are voluntary, but if your company can afford it, it's probably going to give you advantages. But it's also being aware of the future that more and more might come into play in terms of things that you have to do. And even the UK Climate Change Committee, so talking about healthy food as well. So, yes, we want to be getting more people eating fiber filled foods. We're not eating enough of them. That's really important for our overall health, our performance, and helping to prevent some diseases. But we even see stats and targets by the UK Climate Change Committee who have said that we need to reduce our red meat, our meat, and even our dairy consumption. And workplaces are a fantastic way to help with this, especially as we know we need to be eating more plants as well for our health. So it fits in with so many different areas. And we do also see that when companies or hospitals or universities shift to a more plant forward approach, there's also savings in terms of costs of food waste. So it's amazing how many advantages there are when we change one thing. And this should advantage the environment, the business, and people. It's all of them together.
Yes, wonderful. I agree with you. And I believe that this change, when you choose to change, it's by your heart. The movement will be easier because you take your time, you do step by step, you can do these changes. Uh, using the opportunities and the advantages that you already have. But when you wait for the law to came to see what are you doing and so on, it's more tough to work on
Yes.
that. And I think that the brain, we need that. We need our brain, we need our body, and we are very connected with nature and with water, like 70% our our body is water. So I is thinking about that, thinking about natural light, thinking about being able to see the sky, to see the green, to
Mm.
breathe a pure air. It's very important, and I think that we are here. We are very able to help companies to work on that, to change some habits, and maybe it's just a matter of doing an adjustment, like changing the type of paintings that you are using. You can use a painting with water base and not toxic basic solvent and so on. So it's just about getting to having this conversation, to understand the goals of the companies, and for we to get with them, to help them to change and to have a better environment in all senses.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I think exactly what you said, that this isn't about doing everything all at once. You start making progress, start making changes, and start doing it from now, because you don't want to have to rush later. And this is about having advantages all along the way. So, I go into companies and I talk to their people about how they can build some of these habits of better nutrition into their lives in a way that actually works and works with the busyness. But you can't do everything overnight. This is about the small habits that we build in and build up, and something that's, an ongoing progress as well, that can have impacts. And it's the same on the environmental side, the health side, but it's about getting help early as well, and saying, I want to progress towards this. And this is something both of us can help with, and have a chat with you about, understand, where are you, where do you want to get to, and how can we engage, your people better? Because in the end, it's engaging the people in these buildings with these habits and interacting with this space that's really key.
Yes, yes. It's engaging, and we can do that step by step according to the company values and desires. And I mean, it's just about wanting to start. Once people wanted to start to talk about, we can have like weekly conversations, establishing some easy goals in the first step, and the medium challenge, and after the final goal that can be like a Fit12 certification or other certifications like LEED and BREEAM and others, or even just good practice according to your values, your capacity of changing and establishing good goals for you, your and your team. What we want to see is prosperity, happiness, healthy, and improvement for the planet and for the people.
Yes, for sure. And the work I do links both up with helping your people eat better, build in some of those healthy habits that help the environment, as well as, first and foremost, of course, it's got to help their health, be great for their life, sustainable for their life. And it links to that environmental success as well. And you can get hold of Chris, and I will put our details in any caption. You can email us, give us a call, find us both on LinkedIn as well. I'm very happy to have a chat.
Wonderful. Me too. Was a great pleasure to have this conversation with you. Was a great pleasure to meet you in Frankfurt this year.
Yeah.
And let's stay together, and let's help people to change environments to be more healthy and more productivity, have more productivity and more capacity of building a better future for all.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Chris. A pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Pleasure. Bye
Bye.
bye.